Hi everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. In the last video, I described some of the adjustments that are available to us and how we accomplish it on this particular car and what we hope to accomplish with them. So now we're actually going to measure everything. But first what I have to do is I have to settle the suspension because this car has been going up and down on jacks. And when you let it off jacks and put it on the floor, the suspension gets all bound up and the tires are kind of got side stress on them. So what I got to do before I do anything is just back it out of here, do a couple of figure eights in the driveway. That'll settle everything down and then bring it straight back in and we can get to work. If it'll ever start. See you in a minute. We took our trip around the yard and got everything kind of settled in and unloaded. So now we can start checking and measuring stuff. First thing we got to do is go around the car and torque all the wheels. I just ran these on with a cordless drill. That's why they're so loose. We want this one kind of in the upper 30s to start. That's pretty good. All right, I'll do the other three and I'll be back. All right, we're going to check the camber on our right front tire now. So we get our level and we get it perfectly plumb and then we measure to the widest part of the tire. So we're at 2.5 inches. So we'll write that down. Right front, camber. 2.5. Now we'll check the left front. Positive and negative. I always get them all mixed up. I'm pretty sure this is positive and that one's negative, but it doesn't matter. I understand the... This one we've got 1.25 inches. That's pretty much as we can get with the cam adjuster, and it seems to be fine for this car. We don't have to file or do anything crazy like that. Okay, now we're going to check our front toe. So to do that, you need a few things. A set of turning plates is nice. And there's a variety of ways to get your hands on these. You can buy actual proper alignment rack turning plates at, I think Summit Racing sells some, Speedway Motors. You can maybe get lucky at a swap meet and find a good used pair of them. They're a real handy thing to have. But all we've done here is we've got 2 plates of 1/4 inch steel with a Torrington bearing in between, and that's just fine. In fact, in a pinch, and I've used this many times, it's just 2 12 by 12 pieces of steel or even Lexan with a little bit of oil in between them, and that'll give you what you need. You just want to avoid, when you're messing around with the toe, that because the car is moving around on a cement floor, the tires will dig in and start putting side loads on everything, and your readings will be inaccurate. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to get this thing up on the turning plates and have a go at setting the toe, or checking the toe anyway. Now we're going to go ahead and check the toe on the front. There's a variety of ways of doing this. You can, I like to use these. These are something I made. If you've got access to a sheet metal brake and some old aluminum or steel, you can make a pair of these. We call them toe plates. You can buy them, All-Star, any place where you buy your race parts, you can buy a pair of these. You can also use something as simple as 2 pieces of angle iron sitting on top of beer cans. Anything, just so long as you can get right against that tire and measure across from side to side. So, how these work, we lay them like that, one on each side. Then, oh, I should mention, before I do that, once I've got the car on the turning plates, you see it's on the turning plates, I like to just give the steering wheel a couple of jiggles, just to make sure that everything's good and settled down. We got the steering wheel straight ahead. Now, put our turning plates on, or our toe plates, pardon me, one on each side. And then what we're going to do is get a couple of tape measures. And I like to get two exactly the same. These were on sale at Canadian Tire for $4 each or something. So we're going to put one across at the back. Get about 6.5 feet of it out. Then you go to the other side and hook them in. Just like that. This work on road cars too, tractors, anything where you got to set the toe. So what we're looking for is the difference from the front of the wheels to the back. So I'm going to set this here so it's exactly 72 inches. That's the back. So let's see what we've got at the front. 71 and about 5/8. So she's towed in 3/8 of an inch. Well, that's no darn good. Remember I told you the last time I raced this car, it got clobbered on the front? So that's not happening. So we have to open up the toe. I want to start, this time, I'm going to start it at dead straight ahead. So we got to get this thing towed out 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so what we got to do now is we have to loosen the jam nut on the tie rod end, and then we'll turn, because we want to tow it out a little bit, we're going to turn this, we're going to screw this tie rod, the inner tie rod, into the outer tie rod. Whoops. All right, we'll leave that loose. We'll straighten the wheels back out, and we'll see how much we changed it. Okay, we're going to set it to 73 this time. Doesn't matter what you set it to, so long as it's... Okay, so there you can see it's towed in, still 1/8 of an inch. So we just got to tweak it a tiny bit more. Probably what happened, I think when it got hit on the front, it probably moved my camber a little bit. We'll find out when we get to the racetrack and get some temperature readings on these tires where we're at. But for now, we'll just do it this way. There you can see 73 at the back, 73 at the front. So this thing is, the front wheels are dead nuts straight, both of them. So we'll cut a few laps and see what it feels like. And if we have to start opening the toe up a little bit after that, that's fine. I got to go head back now and lock up that jam nut. And that's that done. We can work on the rear. The last thing we'll do is drive the car. I'll take it for a drive over to the other end of the barn and back and see if the steering wheel is centered when I'm driving forward. That's something I like to have it centered. So if through the night something goes bang, you can tell, is it here, is it there? That's your reference. And the way this car, with some pretty extreme angles in the front, even if the wheels are pretty much dead ahead when it's sitting here static, when you get moving, it pulls to the left. It literally wants to turn all by itself at the ends of the track. So we'll see where that is, and we'll adjust from there. But right now we're going to work on the rear wheel alignment. So we have to get the car outside so I can stick the big gauge in it. Now we're going to check the rear toe. And as I stated before, this measurement means nothing if you cannot reference it to the center line, the front and rear center line of the car. So what we have is this tool that we made that, you see this hole in the door here? There's two tubes. There's two tubes in the floor pan of the car that allows me to put this in exactly perpendicular to the center line of the car and put it against that wheel and see where we're at. Give me a sec, I'll be back when it's in. Alright, so now we just gently tap this thing in and get it till it touches the tire. And we can see here that this one is towed in about 1/4 of an inch. You see that? Yeah. So that one's towed in about 1/4 of an inch. I would like this one, well, theoretically, the inside wheel has to turn tighter than the outside wheel. But I think I would like to have this one straight and cock the other one, tow the other one out about 1/4 of an inch to help kind of get the back end swinging around in the corners. We're going to try that. So we'll have to straighten this one back out. Now we're going to go and see what the other one's at. So we can see here that this one is also turned about 1/4 of an inch. So if we check it with the toe plates, I think we'll find that it's probably set at 0 at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it in, and this wheel is exactly where we want it. And the one on the other side, we're going to turn it back out so it's perfectly straight. We double checked what we found outside with our tape measures, and yeah, we're within 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and aim the front of this tire back out a little bit. Hopefully we have enough adjustment in the cam to do that. We're going to find out. We've confirmed with our gauge that the left rear wheel is dead straight ahead. And now with the toe plates, I can see that it is in fact towed out 1/4 of an inch. So the right rear wheel is turned out 1/4 of an inch. So we'll see if that helps the back of the car rotate. These front wheel drive cars, it's always a trick trying to get them to rotate without being over like snappy loose. It's because they're light in the back. It's a real delicate balance. If you can get a car that it just is a hair to the loose side, you're gonna have a really fast front wheel drive race car. When we show up at the racetrack, we'll take the car out for practice, and it's usually in a hot sunny afternoon, and it's a slick old racetrack. And we like the car in practice in the heat of the afternoon to be just a tiny bit free, you know, just a little bit tail happy, because as the sun goes down, the track starts to tighten up, and it comes right to you. And you'll for race time, maybe not in the heat races because it's still a little warm then, but at night when you go out for your feature, this baby's gonna be she's gonna be driving good. Anyway, that's it for that. Now I'm gonna record all my readings. I have to record the 2 camber readings, and we'll record our toe, and then we're going to get the scales out. Now I'm going to show you the lowdown homebrew way of weighing your race car. This mostly just gives us an idea, gets us in the ballpark. You can have the most fancy, expensive set of scales at home and measure your car down to the ounce, and when you put it on the scales at the racetrack, it'll be completely different. That's just how it goes. So I came up with a way at home to get my weights, you know, approximate. And it's actually, if I compare it to what I get on the scales at the racetrack, it's not that bad. So the first thing you want to do is replicate yourself with bags of sand or bags of salt. You know what you weigh. Don't forget to add a little bit for your helmet and gloves and all your gear that you're wearing when you're in the car. And that's step one. Now, you're going to need 12 old school mechanical bathroom scales. And I'll show you what it looks like when the car's on them. You have to build some trapezes out of lumber. Like that. You sit the trapeze on your 4 scales, zero them out, lower the car down on it. Same with the rear, but on a front wheel drive car, you usually only need 2. So here's how you can make these trapezes for yourself. They're just made of, the one I use, what the wheels sit on is a 2x8. So one 2x8 I got the 4 pieces out of, and then one 2x6 I got the rest of everything that I needed. And you have to make sure that they're the same height across, and you need to make sure that they've got, see this? It's got pads to sit on the scales. So you can put the weight right on the center of the scale where your feet would be if you were standing on it. Anyway, let me get these under the wheels. Once you've got all your scales under the wheels and everything zeroed up, you can lower the car down onto them. There we go. And then you just go wheel by wheel and you add up what you've got, and you make your calculations from there. So what we came up with is our gross weight is 2,430 pounds. Our left side weight is 1,345, which works out to 55.3%. That's 0.3 over what we're allowed, but I can work with that. Our cross weight, which is the right front and the left rear added together as a percentage of the whole, is at 48.8. We'd really like to get that down into the lower 40s. That's when the car seems to work best. So what we're going to do is figure out what we got to do to accomplish that, and I'll be back in a second. So we went through the weighing of the car 2 more times, and then we started monkeying around, jacking weight around by packing the springs. And we've got it now where the corner weights are kind of what I would like to see. Our cross weight is just over 43%, which is a good starting point. Once they get down around 40 and below, they start getting a little tail happy. Our Daytona, it likes to run around 38, 39. But this car was always a little more tail happy than it, and we run that just in the low 40s. So we've got a good starting point, and Saturday we'll get this thing on the racetrack and see what it does. I'm not saying that these settings are perfect or where it's going to end up, but at least we know what everything is. We'll also compare the racetrack scales to what we came up with and make sure we're in the same ballpark. Okay, well, as near as we can tell, this here car is all set up and ready for the track. I can't wait to get there Saturday and see how she performs. We've got a good baseline here to work from, and we'll go from there. Hopefully tomorrow my new seat belts that I ordered will show up. Otherwise, that's all right. They'll get here sooner or later, and we'll put them in when they do. Tomorrow's video, we're gonna get busy. We got to get the truck and the trailer ready to go because time is short. So I've still got the truck. Well, the truck is stored away. It hasn't really even been out yet this year, and my trailer is in not race car mode. So we got to get that all set up. I'll show you how we do that. And anyway, I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. So long.